leadership is such a big part of Branksome. They want everyone to be a leader. No matter if you're a leader for a small club or if you're a leader for something huge. And I think everyone at Branksome in some way is passionate about leadership.
Becca Clark graduated from Branksome Hall in 2017, and she's still so enthusiastic about not only the education she received, but all the school taught her beyond the classroom. Becca is big on community, and Branksome Hall felt like home to her. She was excited about getting to school every day. She also took part in activities like sports and especially leadership programs, all the while passionately engaged in school spirit. Becca marveled at just how much the school had to offer and embraced her time at Branksome Hall. Just to get us started, Becca, can you please give us a brief summary of what you've been up to since you graduated from Branksome, where you're going to secondary school, and what you're studying, and what you've been up to all summer?
Yeah, so I go to Queen's University. I'm actually in my 4th year, which scares me a little bit. But I'm a drama major, French minor, and then I'm taking a business certificate on the side. Usually in the summers I go to camp. I go to a camp called Towingo, which has always been a big part of my life. It's kind of like I went to Branksome, and then I went to Towingo, and that was it. And obviously this summer I couldn't go because of Corona. So I was just kind of hanging around with my family, which was nice because I hadn't seen them in a while, because I was on exchange in France, and I was only actually supposed to see them for 2 weeks that summer, and I ended up seeing them for 6 months. So it was great.
And you're still getting along.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you're calling us from Kingston right now, right?
Yes.
It's a campus. Queens is a beautiful campus.
Mm-hmm.
Becca, do you think that Branksome Hall influenced your choice of university and the things you wanted to study?
For sure. I wouldn't say they influenced my choice of school. I think I copied my brother on that one. But uh, drama was never really a part of my life until I went to Branksome. So before Branksome, I went to Toronto French School, and I moved to Branksome in grade 8. And at Toronto French School, I wasn't planning on taking drama the next year. I was planning on taking art, and that was going to be it. And in grade 8 at Branksome, you have to take music, art, and drama still. So I was just like, whatever, I had to take drama, whatever. And then we did one unit. It was the monologue unit, which was kind of like the main acting unit. And I absolutely fell in love. The teacher was just amazing. I still talk to her to this day. She was just amazing. And I ended up scoring really well. And so then I took drama the next year, and I wanted to just make it a part of my life. So that teacher, even though I did not have her for any of my classes, I just had her in grade 8 and maybe in English in grade 9, but she still like worked with me at least once a week at lunch, and just helped me with my acting skills, and would film me and would research stuff for me and would help me write like resumes or cover letters, which was just really awesome. So definitely Branksome influenced my choice in taking drama because without any of that, I would have, like, it wouldn't have even crossed my mind to do something like this. So.
A little task for you here, Becca. If you were to write a resume and list your experiences and accomplishments while at Branksome, what would it say? For example, what subjects did you prefer and excel at, even though you mentioned one already? And what extracurricular activities did you partake in?
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So obviously I excelled at drama and French. The French was because I went to Toronto French School. And then I was always on the basketball team because I played rep basketball outside of school. And on the basketball team, I got MVP every year, I guess. And then I was head of junior head of drama, meaning I helped the grade 9 and 10s make their little play when I was in grade 11. And then I was senior head of drama in grade 12, which was just kind of like a leadership role within the senior drama department, helping facilitate rehearsals, et cetera, et cetera. And then I was a clan chieftain, which, if you don't know, at Branksome they have clans, and it's like kind of like houses. And I was one of those in grade 12. I was like, I guess, the captain of the basketball team. I made a club called the basketball club slash, it was not really a club. It was just me and my friend we made the student versus teacher basketball game. And it would happen every year. We would always lose. The teachers would always win, but that's okay. We don't have to talk about it. And then I went to South Africa with Branksome, and so the beginning of it was kind of like a little trip, and then after that we went into a school and taught them. So my job was to teach grade 5s with a couple other girls, and we had like a lesson plan for the week. And so ours was just like about what you want to be when you're older, and like it was just a really cute lesson plan. And then there's probably more, but in grade 12 I was like voted the first Spark of the Month award, which is kind of the person who has the most enthusiasm for the school and love for the school. That's probably why I'm here today.
Becca, what do you think your proudest memory is of Branksome Hall?
Obviously I would talk about plays and stuff, but for me what kind of stood out, and it stands out still, was in grade 8. It was my first week at the school because basketball is like the first season of the year, and we were at tryouts, and I didn't really know anyone, but I was obviously showing off because I played basketball. So I just wanted to, maybe make some friends that way. And the coach, Miss Rotherham, who I'm still friends with to this day, she shaped Branksome for me. I think I went to her office at least once a day just to say hi. But she asked me to demonstrate at the tryouts, it's not a big accomplishment. I mean, whatever, but like it just like I think it helped me make friends, and like it just really like she shone a light on me that she didn't have to shine. And then like I made so many friends after that, and everyone was like, whoa, we know you're gonna make the basketball team, and it was just a running joke and all this stuff. So I think that was kind of like the accomplishment that sparked the other accomplishments.
Let's go back to when you and your family were choosing a school, Becca. How and why did you choose Branksome Hall? And where you went to French immersion school before that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a weird kind of transition to a school. So my childhood, I lived in Calgary, I lived in Halifax, and then I came to Toronto, and I went to a small like public school for half a year. And we were going to stay there till grade 6, and then we had a bad experience there. So I went to TFS, which is another IB school, another independent school. So I didn't have to leave. And then in grade 7, I got this weird urge in February to change schools, which February is admissions time. You don't really apply in February. So all of a sudden I'm researching, and I just wanted to go to Branksome. There was no other place. I had friends who had gone to Branksome. I didn't know a lot about Branksome, but that was it. Like, I'm going to Branksome or I'm staying at TFS. Like, it was one or the other. And so then I applied, whatever, everything happened. And I didn't get in because grade 8 is not an entry year. They usually let I don't really know, but they usually let us, like, less than 10 kids in. And then all of a sudden, I get this email in April, and my mom's like, here, grandma's emailing you, like, as a joke. And then I look at the email and I start bawling because in my head I was going to TFS. I wasn't prepared for Branksome anymore because we hadn't gotten in. It was past. It was done. And that's kind of how it happened. I didn't really choose it over the other. I think I was just kind of done with TFS, and I wanted to try something new. It's a kind of bad story, but that's just how it happened. I had friends that had gone there. I seriously didn't really know a lot about it. I was just like, I'm going.
If you had to pick one thing, what did you appreciate most about attending Branksome Hall?
Okay, so for me, going to Branksome wasn't about I'm going to see my friends tomorrow. Obviously, I was excited to see my friends tomorrow, but it was seriously about I'm going to see the building tomorrow. I'm going to see the teachers tomorrow. which makes me sound like a teacher's pet, but and I'm gonna see them, and they're gonna, like, they just shaped my entire time there. Every single teacher made every day so much brighter. The teachers are so passionate. The buildings are so bright. There's something about the buildings. Even when I go back today, I'm like, Branksome.
And try and see Branksome as objectively as possible. And in the best of your knowledge, what in your mind most differentiates Branksome Hall from other schools family may choose instead?
I think I really think it is Branksome's commitment to pushing you towards your passion, because what they do is, so in IB, you have to do CAS, which is community, creativity, action, and service. So you have to be doing 3 activities all year round. And so they start that. However, that's only in grade 11 and 12. And most schools, I don't want to speak for most schools, but most schools would only have you do CAS in grade 11 and 12. That's it. Whereas Branksome instills in grade 7 and 8, you have to do the principal award, which is completely just Branksome, and you have to do those same sections: creativity, action, and service. And then you move on to the next, after grade 7 and 8, in grade 9, you start doing the Duke of Edinburgh Award. And then you're doing CAS. So they really just instill in you the fact that you need to be doing extracurriculars, which maybe some people find tiring, but also without them, a lot of people wouldn't have found what they're passionate about. They really find your passion and then narrow into your passion. And they offer so many different programs. I remember in grade 11, it was super challenging for me because in IB, you can only take one art and a science, or if you take an art, you can't take 2 sciences. So I had a huge guidance meeting / like fight with my parents. I was like, I'm taking drama. I don't want to be a doctor anymore. I don't need 2 sciences. Like, I want to be a doctor for 5 seconds, but I don't need 2 sciences. Blah, 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 blah. But like, without Branksome, I wouldn't have had so many passions. And then, like, leadership is such a big part of Branksome. They want everyone to be a leader. No matter if you're a leader for a small club or if you're a leader for something huge. And I think everyone at Branksome in some way is passionate about leadership, because it's just such a big part of the school. I mean, we have installation every year to install every single leader, whether it be you're a head of basketball club like I was, or astronomy club, or if you're the head prefect. Like, there's just so much that Branksome gives you, and so many opportunities that they give you, that just lets you be passionate about anything that you could ever want. Whereas other schools, well, a different school that I had been to, I played basketball. That was my thing. I didn't really dabble, I guess, in other subject areas, and Branksome really pushes you to do that. So I think that's one of the main things I loved about Branksome.
Okay, I got a little test here for you. Becca,
Okay.
if Branksome Hall were to become personified, that is, if it were to become a single person, describe its personality in 3 words.
Loving, inclusive, and I would say passionate, honestly.
Great qualities. Expand on the inclusive bit a bit, please.
For sure. So I'm talking about inclusivity in terms of, like, trying to get this school together as a community. So maybe a better word is community. But they really tried hard to bond grades, to bond different grades together. It was kind of a goal that they had. I mean, we have advisor every week, which is with 10 other kids and a teacher in your grade that you might not have other classes with. You might not be in their friend group. It's just you have been with them every single year since you've been to that school, and that's been your advisor. And it's just a nice way to reconnect, because a lot of the people in the advisor I wasn't, like, super close with. But then when we got to that meeting, it was great to see them. Yeah, they just really try and make everything super inclusive. And
Okay, here's a question for you, Becca. What would you say are the school's highest values in actual practice?
Um, I would say one of their main values, I guess, is really like to seek to empower the students as young females. They bring in a lot of guest speakers um, with hopes of inspiring students to strive to reach their aspirations, their goals, discover passions, start passions, complete passions. I think they really want to try and make every individual feel welcomed in any category that they wish to study, or in any section of life that they're in. Um, and I think they obviously, as I was talking, they value community. Um, that's a really big value of theirs. And they value student life, which obviously I also touched upon that,
Yeah.
but on it, I wouldn't be here if they didn't value student life.
Okay, that's a good answer. What do you think students and families would find surprising about Branksome Hall, Becca? And what surprised you when you were there?
Mm. That's really hard. I just feel like everything fell into place. I think if you go to Branksome, you're surprised because everything falls into. Well, okay, this is really no, because that was just me. That's not fair to say. But I think what they'd be surprised is that the way my perspective changed about Branksome was I came from being like going to a school or going even at the start of Branksome, you go and it's a mandatory thing. You're a kid, you have to go to school. And I think by the end, honestly, by grade 10, 11, 12, and I speak for myself, but I speak for so many people in my grade, so many people that I know, Branksome didn't become a mandatory thing. It became a home. Um, and just getting to go every day was amazing. And I honestly feel when COVID was happening, I was like, I can't believe the grade 12s don't get to live out their last 2 months of school. That is so sad. Anyhow, doesn't matter. But I just think that your perspective changes when you go to Branksome. It's not a school, it's a home, and it's something that you want to go to every day versus something that your parents drive you to every day because you need to learn. Um, so that's what
Great,
I would say, I think.
great answer. You know, you talking about fondly about your classmates, Becca. Can you describe for me a typical student at Branksome Hall and how you remember them relating to one another?
I would say that they're driven. Um, I would say that this is a weird word to use, but I would say that they're silly. Um, we were always laughing, no matter what class you were in. I would say that they are passionate. Um, they want to spark change in their communities. Um, yeah, I think those are great words to define them.
Okay, good. I'm going to get a little personal here. Becca,
Okay.
Becca, do you think your experience at Branksome Hall has shaped who you are today as a person? And in what way?
Um, yeah, not a doubt about that. I think that I wouldn't have become the obsessive leader that I am without Branksome. I love being in a leadership role. Sorry. So definitely that. Obviously, I wouldn't have been in drama without Branksome, and that wouldn't have shaped. I think I wouldn't have been as happy as a person as I am without Branksome. If I'm going to be honest, at my old school, I was in such a rut. And I don't know if it was a rut because of the school or if it was a rut because I had been there for so long or if it was just a rut. And I went to Branksome, and you can ask my mom. She was like, she always says Branksome was the best thing that ever happened to you because I just became so much happier. Even my outlook on everything. So I didn't love my overnight camp. And then I went to Branksome, and all of a sudden it slowly started to switch that I was obsessed with my overnight camp. I was positive about everything. I think Branksome just made me the positive, bubbly person that I am, excited for life, excited for opportunity, excited for everything to come. This might be a big thing for school to do, but I honestly really think it did do that for me. So.
Okay, Becca, reflecting back on your wonderful experience there, if you had to pick something to change about the school, what would it be? What, for example, what would have helped you if it was different when you were at the school?
Okay, this is similar to the question that I noticed that was, what do you dislike most about the school? And I have been stewing about this question since I signed up for a month. I it's so hard because obviously there were roadblocks along the way, and maybe things that I didn't like or places where I struggled, but nothing happened that wasn't, with my experience there, I don't think I would want to change anything. Everything was perfect for me. I feel silly saying this, but it was perfect. And I honestly, as I said before, I wouldn't be the person I am without Branksome. Obviously, there's struggles and maybe like a couple roadblocks in every environment that you encounter in every setting that you're in, but I don't think I disliked or I would change anything to make it better.
Okay, okay, let's move on to this one then. How's your perspective on the school and your experience there evolved over time, especially that you're no longer there? I mean, it's what, 3, 4 years since you graduated?
Yeah. It's definitely weird. It's not weird now. I would say that it's just crazy not being there. I still love following their social media and need to know what's going on. I need to know who's in what's leadership position, et cetera, et cetera. But entering the building, I still get like super happy. It's different because it's not exactly how you left it. I mean, some of the teachers that I had may have left. Different students are roaming the halls. I think I said before that while I was there, my perspective kind of changed from going to school to then calling it a home. But yeah, I think that I I I I I don't know. I'm not sure how my perspective changed. It was just really that switch in school and home, and also I don't know if this helps, but um, me, along with many others in my grade, started crying about leaving Branksome at probably the start of January of our graduating year till the end of May, and then continued that on into first year because we still wanted to be at Branksome. Maybe dramatic of us, but but yeah, and honestly, to capture my obsession with the school, I graduated on a Thursday. On a Friday, I was back in the school doing Fit Friday, even though we didn't need to be at the school because we were graduated. It was summer. And I was back at the school because the grade 12s graduate earlier than everyone else. Like everyone else is still in school. So I was back in the school doing the activities, hanging out with one of my friends. I really never want to leave.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get the feeling A, that you miss it, and B, it is always going to be a part of Becca Clark, always. A lot of love
Definitely.
there. Becca, would you recommend that other students enroll at Branksome Hall?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
um,
Can you give me 3 reasons, please?
yeah. So I would say I think that brings and pushes you to the best you can be. I think they provide a lot of opportunity for you to make friends, whether that be in a singular friend group or in multiple. In my case, it was more of a multiple. I spread myself around the grade, and I think it has a lot to offer no matter what direction that you're going to. And it provides, I haven't touched upon this, but it provides an amazing education. I mean, you're doing the IB program, you're at an independent girls school, you're learning things in advance of a lot of people. For example, just like we had an opportunity to do American history, which has really like given me a lot of information in my life. Like I love that I've done American history, whereas a lot of other schools, you do the grade 8 geography is actually in the Ontario program. You're supposed to do that in grade 9, but we did grade 8 geography, then grade 9 Canadian history, and then American history. So, it just, they just really push your education to a new level. So definitely another reason why you would obviously want to go there. I think that goes without saying.
Excellent. Now, further to that, outside of those reasons, is there anything you would say to a family that's considering Branksome right now?
I think they should know that if you are trying to get a new start, if you want to find yourself, if you want to be the best person that you think you can be, push yourself to discover new things, push yourself to discover new passions, meet amazing people, meet amazing teachers, meet amazing mentors. I think that's the place you want to be.
Okay, Becca, how about a family that's touring or visiting the school? What would you draw their attention to above all else?
This may seem super cliche, but if you're just entering the school, you want to join clubs. I mean, you want to do this at any school, but joining clubs or extracurriculars, that's what I did the first week, and that's where I met a lot of my friends that I'm still friends with today. Being involved is honestly the best way to meet people in any environment. You have to put yourself out there. But go into everything with an open mind and positivity. Try not to be negative about anything, because you never know where you'll find something you love. That goes with me with drama. Maybe I wouldn't have, if I was negative about my drama class, maybe I wouldn't have found how great I was at it or how passionate I was about it. So I think just going into everything with an open mind, with a sense of positivity, with a sense of spirit, excitement, is really just what you have to do, and everything else will kind of fall in place from there, I would say.
Good answer. Now I'm going to ask Becca, the performer here, to answer this next question. Imagine that there's a student watching this, and they're just about to enter Branksome Hall. It's going to be their first time at it. What would your one piece of advice be to the student about entering Branksome Hall?
I would say that I think I said this, but really it's the extracurriculars that make you have the most fun and the most spirit. Branksome is a spirited school. So upon entering, you need to know that Branksome is a spirited school. They love involvement, they love leadership, and they love extracurriculars. So in order to just be the best part of the school that you can be is by involving yourself in different extracurriculars and just finding something that you're passionate about. Don't worry about if you don't find it the first day that you're there. There's clubs there, there's sports teams, but at some point, involve yourself in just one thing. It can be small, it can be big, it can be whatever. It can be an assembly announcement. It can be honestly whatever you would like. Maybe you want to start your own club, but just involve yourself in something and you'll become passionate about it, or maybe you won't, but at least you'll laugh about the struggles that you had and you'll make friends along the way. And I think that's definitely my one piece of advice.